All right, you guys, we are live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As you are getting logged on, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And as always, we will wait a few minutes for everybody to get logged on and get started here. We're doing a part 2 tonight, a part 2. If you are logging on Instagram, you can watch on Instagram, but we have live on YouTube and Facebook as well. And on YouTube, you can see the screen shares. And I was looking at this. Oh, yeah. And pictures and all that kind of stuff that we put up. So if you're on Instagram, you might want to flip over to YouTube. If you are not subscribed to our channel, the easiest way to do that is to click on the link tree in my bio on Instagram and click over to YouTube that way. Say hi when you get on. What's up, Kelby? So yeah, if you want to go to YouTube, or if you follow us on Facebook, you can watch on Facebook too. You just won't see all of the comments on Facebook, but you will see all of the comments, everything on YouTube. You will see the screen shares on Facebook as well. So Facebook's not bad, but you see everything when you're on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube, make sure that you've subscribed and that you've turned on notifications so that you get a reminder anytime we're going to go live. So I always schedule our lives. So you'll get a little notification about 30 minutes before we actually go live. So you can come in and join us. I always like everybody to come on with us because this is a discussion. This is not me just talking at you. This is you asking questions, putting your input in. I want your feedback. I want you to learn. That's why we're here. So again, if you're over on Instagram and you want to get onto Facebook or to YouTube, you'll be able to see the pictures we're going to share tonight. Okay. And if you want to work with me too, like I said, suitsandposing.com, but also we've got the QR code right here. That QR code right there will take you to our website as well. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up in the next few days, really. So be paying attention because we'll be posting that everywhere. Get on our email list and all that too. What's up? What's up? Say hello when you log on. And tonight's live stream was requested after we did the same thing for bikini last night. So it was requested to go over some of the presentation and criteria details for wellness through some comparison shots. I was going to pull up the Arnold photos, but honestly, the Arnold photos aren't great. They're small. They're hard to see. They're not on NBC News Online. Plus, there's only 9 girls in the Arnold, so there wasn't a lot of girls. So I actually pulled up, I think it's Battle of Texas. I think that's what I got. I think that's what I got. Is that what it is? Hold on. Texas Pro. Texas Pro is what I pulled up. So I have Texas Pro. My dad's online again. What's up, Devin? Dad, how long did you last night? How long were you on the live feed for? I was a little surprised that you joined us. Now he's liked our Facebook page, so we may be seeing Mr. Hector here more often. Oh my goodness. So Devin, I actually pulled up your show that you won for the comparison shots because there were a lot of girls in that show for wellness, as we know from previewing some of these shows throughout the year. Okay, so you made it about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Good for you. Yeah, so I pulled up your show, Devin, that you won because you had a decent number of girls in that show. And a lot of the shows, I was going through a bunch of them today. A lot of the shows had like 6, 7 girls, that kind of thing. So I wanted to showcase a show where we had a decent number of wellness pros on the stage so we could go through everything. And I pulled up some of the quarter turns. I pulled up, both the first call out and the second call out, which I think there was 2 call outs, but the second call out was quite a bit larger. So I've got some photos that we're going to pull up. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it. So I want to pull up first call out first. No, let's pull up second call out first because we have more things we can actually look at with second call out. So Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the chat overlay again so that the pictures will be a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Make sure I got the right picture up here. This is. There we go. All right, so this was your second call out in Texas. So as you guys are on here looking at this photo, I'll give you guys a minute. Show me some things that you feel like stick out as far as the presentation is concerned. Now, I tried to get photos where everybody was posed, fully posed, but it was hard to do that because, you know, some of these pictures were snapped when girls were changing positions and things like that. So, what's up? We're going through some wellness category stuff right now. So, you know, good thing we have Devin on here. Maybe she can point out some things. You know, point out some things in this particular call out here that we're looking at that could have been done better as far as your posing, your hair, your makeup, your suit, all those kinds of things. What are some things that we see here in wellness? Wellness is still very difficult, and I don't expect a lot of answers, to be honest with you, because the criteria is still kind of working its way, massaging its way in. There's still quite a few girls that are not quite adhering to what we're looking for. But do we see anything here specifically in this photo that we could point out? I see a couple of things. Pie plates. Yes, pie plates. So for those of you that don't know, it's not that this is a rule that you can't have this particular type of top, but you see it on almost every single girl in this particular call out, and they have the pie plate suit top. This one is good. This one's a bikini top. We've got bra top, bra top, bra top. I think this one's a bikini top, bra top, bra top, bra top. I can't stand this particular look on wellness suits personally because they look like bras. I just think they're really, really not flattering. It looks like something that we've seen from the 90s. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a flashback in time kind of thing. I am not a huge fan. I just don't think, again, I just don't think they look good on anyone. I think in general, they tend to make the chest look quite a bit bigger, which we don't want in wellness. In wellness, you want an unbalanced look. You want the lower half to look bigger than the upper half. So you really don't want to make the upper half look bigger. And when you do this, like my eye goes directly to that suit top. And you notice these are all girls that are in the second call out of 2. I think I'll pull up the first call out when we finish up with the second call out. But yeah, it's WBBF style. Yeah, the pie plates. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the pie plates. It's just not flattering, right? It looks like you're wearing a bra on stage. I just don't like that, right? So anybody that's worn my suits, you guys know that all of my suits have the soft cup lining inside there. So it supports you like a bra, but it doesn't look like a bra, right? There's a balance there. I get why girls think that this might help, but it actually really hinders the look of the physique. So if I can put my 2 cents out there, I know that the judges don't like them at all. I have talked to Sandy. Sandy doesn't like them. That's where pie plates came from, by the way, you guys. I didn't make that up. I didn't make that up. That came from Sandy. They look like pie plates, right? So if I can put any kind of 2 cents out there into the world, just don't do it. It's just not a flattering style, right? It's just not a flattering style. And you see this sometimes in figure girls too. And I'm just not a fan of the style at all. Like, again, it looks like a bra top. I'm not a fan of the style. So it tends to be more distracting than anything else. What else? Do you guys see anything else in this particular photo that these girls could have done differently? Now, I understand that some of these girls are kind of mid transition here getting to their poses, but they're actually pretty close to their pose because I did flip through most of these. So some of the things that you're seeing here where it looks like they may be transitioning, they're actually not. That's actually how they held their pose. So I tried to get one where most of them were holding their pose as closely as possible as how they actually held their pose during the show day. So what else do you see? Is there anything in particular here that these girls could have done differently? I see a few things I'd like to specifically point out if nobody gets them. And And again, we're not going to comment on like conditioning and things like that, because especially from these photos, it's hard to tell. I'll give it a minute. Anybody got anything? We're real quiet tonight, guys. Real quiet. All right, I'm going to start. Let's see if anybody picks up on some of these things, right? So specifically, I'm looking over here on this end. A couple of girls look like they're standing straight up versus pushing back to the hip. There you go. So yes, second girl from the right needs to angle more. Absolutely. This is what I was going to point out right here. Absolutely. So this girl is standing straight on. Her hips are right straight smack dab towards that center judge, which makes your waistline look thick. You don't want to do that. This is very like figure-esque, right? And even at that, you want to have that hip bone V in so that you have a curve into your waistline and into your glutes. This just, again, makes her look pretty balanced from top to bottom. If she was to twist it and push it a little bit, she'd probably look a little bit better, right? Now, on that same topic, this girl standing right next to her, the way she's positioning her body, her waistline is, again, going directly towards the judges. She needs to turn more. She's focusing her pose on the audience out this way. When you focus on the audience out this way, guess what? The head judge in the center of the table sees a thick waistline. So she needs to angle in more. And also the way that she's positioned her body, her upper body looks really strong right now, right? And you don't want that. Again, you don't want that in wellness. You want to diminish that upper body as much as you can, okay? This girl right here is twisted okay, but she needs to open up her chest a little bit because we can't see that waistline. We can't see any kind of taper. There is a balance between having your waistline twisted and being open enough so that we look like we have a curve there. She doesn't look like she has a curve there. She may have a better curve than what she's showing. And she is relatively close to the center. She's angling in, which is good, but she still needs to open that up a little bit more, right? These two girls in the center are doing a pretty good job of hitting their poses the way they should be. Your eyes go directly to their legs and you see a tight waistline, which that's all good. Those poses are actually really good right here. This one's a pretty good pose as well. One thing I noticed with this girl as she was going through her transitions through these poses, that her arms are a little bit all over the place. You got to be careful of your arms too. Okay. Now, this girl right here, obviously she's not fully posed right here. However, it looks like she's going into a transition, and the way that she's pushing through this transition does not flatter her at all. So these are things you have to think about as well. If the camera caught this particular look on her, then so did the judges, right? So your transitions are very, very important, because if you're looking at this particular call out, probably what was going on right here is they were telling her to switch with somebody else. So guess what? Everybody else is posed. She is not. She's going into transition to go switch with somebody on the line. And the judges are looking right straight at her, and they're seeing this really unflattering shape on her. So you always want to push that hip bone back so that waistline stays nice and tight, and we see that pop in the glute, just like how these girls are standing here, right? This girl right here is doing a good job. She probably could pull that knee open a little bit. She still looks a little thin through the legs, that kind of thing. But again, it's not bad, but she does need to relax this arm. This, again, she was actually posed here. This was not a transition. She was posed here. So always make sure that that arm is nice and relaxed and it's not yanked out like this. You're going towards figure when you do that kind of thing. Okay. So all of these little things that you want to pay attention to, right? Now, also, I'm going to comment on a couple of these colors of the suits as well. This particular suit right here, I'm not a fan of the color. I'm actually okay with doing blacks. If you want to put different colored stones on top of black, I think that's great. I actually think that that can come off really well. However, she's got an ombre look, which has those clear crystals on the top. Do not, unless you are women's physique or fitness or a figure, do not put clear stones on your suit. The clear stones are made to create outlines, right? When you put them on your suit like this, it just takes away from the overall depth of the suit. And I'm just not a fan of that at all. It just takes away from the overall look. Plus, she's got her hair pulled back, which specifically in wellness, that's not a good idea. Sometimes you can do that in like figure and fitness and women's physique, because you're showing the full frame, you're showing the back, you're showing the width, all those kinds of things. But in wellness, you don't ever want to do that, because you don't want to show width. You don't want to show strength in the upper body, right? So this actually makes her look kind of figure-esque. Now, she's obviously got more size on her lower half, but the way she's posing, she's opening up and everything like that, That looks like a figure girl, right? That looks like a figure girl to me, who just has a little bit thicker legs. And the reason why is because she's got nothing up here covering. Okay. Again, tiny little details. Now, some of you guys know I won't let you go on stage in green suits because green is a risk. This is not a flattering color on this girl right here. She needs a pop of color because of the undertone of her skin, which is a little bit yellowish, mixed with this green. It does not do her any justice. If she had worn this kind of tealish looking green right here, that would have actually been really pretty, right? But this green, just not doing her any favors. We always want to think jewel tones, bright colors. This is a beautiful color. This is a beautiful color. This is actually a beautiful color too. It's not exactly executed correctly, but I like it. I like the color. Just needs to be executed a little bit differently. And then red tends to be really good on brunettes regardless. So those look really good. So just be careful of the colors that you choose. Just because you want to be different, that's not always a good thing, right? So I would revamp this entire look on her, her posing, everything. I think she actually has a much better look than what she's showing right here overall. This girl right here too, very simple things. Change out the suit and the suit color and put the hair down. And I think that could really help her, right? Okay, anything else you guys see on this particular photo? I'm going to get rid of this one and go on to the next one. Let's see what we got. I pulled up a bunch. So let's go to another one for that second call out. Let's go to a back shot of that second call out. Here we go. What's up, Raven? Okay. All right, so here's a back shot. Okay. Let me open it up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Here we go. All right, so what do you guys see here in the back shot for this second call out of wellness? What am I doing? Hold on. Just made it move if I don't like that. Go over here. Okay. All right, what do you guys see here? I'll give you a minute. We see judges' heads, which doesn't help. But what else do you guys see? And I'm not concerned about their conditioning right now. Or size or anything like that. I'm just concerned specifically about the presentation details and what they could change here to make their presentation fit their body a little bit better. Third from the left looks bikini. Yes and no. She does have more size on her than a bikini girl for sure. But the way she's posing isn't helping her. Like I was just talking about, she's the same girl that we were just talking about from the front. That looked figure from the front. She's definitely not quite big enough for wellness, but she's got that potential for wellness. She's just not posing it right. Blonde, her hair's too long. Yes, it is. Yep. Lots of long hair laying on the glutes. Yes. Angle of the competitors on the end. Yes. Second from the right, straighten the knees. Yes. Yep, absolutely. Her whole pose needs tweaking there. She looks like she's going to take a poo. I call that the squat and poo. That's what it looks like right there. Too much bending forward on the left in the red. Yes. I understand why she's doing that. That's really just because she needs to be better conditioned. She's got to fix her whole pose and everything there. What else? So since we just got a comment about the bending forward, so this is a thing that got very popular in wellness in the last couple of years, which was bending quite a bit in that upper body. And we don't want to do that. Okay. When you bend forward, now remember, a lot of girls think that when you bend forward, that makes your hamstrings pop, it makes you look bigger on the bottom. Yeah, it does all those things, but it also flattens out your glutes. So you really don't want to do that. Okay. And yeah, the tan on the blonde could be better. Definitely could be better. It's a little swatchy. But a lot of that also is based on her pose as well. She's another one that's bending too much. Yeah, well, they're not touching their glutes now. I didn't see their presentations. So, I mean, I don't know. But thankfully, that has been kind of drilled into people's heads not to touch your glutes anymore, that kind of thing. So yeah, so going into some of the things that you all have just mentioned, bending forward does not do you any justice in any of these divisions. Okay. So I know that was a trend. I know a lot of people were having you pose that way. It was happening for a couple of years. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. No bending. And the main reason, again, is because it just flattens everything out. Okay, so stand up, tilt the pelvis. Stand up and tilt the pelvis. You can get a little bit of tightness through the knees, through bending the knees slightly, but not to the point where you're squatting. Okay, and this is the difference right here. I'm going to show you the difference. This girl right here, we just talked about that. She looks like she's squatting. Okay, this is too much on the knees. Okay, this girl is not. Right? She's got a slight bend in her knees. So does she right here. They both have a slight bend in their knees, but they don't look like they're squatting into it. You want your knees to be soft with a slight soft bend so that you can pull nice and tight on those hamstrings, but not so you're squatting into it. And you also don't want to be locked out. This girl right here is locked out. Right? This girl right here is locked out. Okay, so there's a happy medium. You don't want to lock out, and you don't want to squat, and you don't want to squat. Okay. And the other thing that this girl is doing right here is not only is she squatting into it, but she's also flexing her glutes. See how like squared off her glutes look on the outside here? That's because she's flexing them. Okay. We got rounder glutes here, rounder glutes here, rounder, rounder. They're all rounder except for her because she's squeezing and flexing. Yeah, and the outside girls are not angling in, which they should be. This girl should be angling in because you can see even right here, it makes her glutes look like they're sloping off on the side. Now, they may be sloping out off on the side, but you don't want to do that and make it look that way, really. She just looks like she's just standing there. She just needs some work on that pose, right? She looks like she's not even doing anything. And really, I mean, this girl's pose is okay, but she just needs to be better conditioned in order to make it pop. She's bent a little bit too much. She's got her elbows out a little bit too much, but she's doing all that to try to make her hamstrings pop a little bit more, right? Overall, I mean, these two girls in the center, their poses are pretty good. The rest of them need some work, okay? And yes, the hair on top of the glutes. So in wellness, it's a little bit different, right? In wellness, I'm okay with the hair touching the top of the suit in wellness, but we don't want it covering the glutes at all. So we're seeing this hit the glutes. We're seeing this hit the glutes. We're seeing this hit the glutes, right? This one is like borderline right here, right? So I want to be able to see all of your glute and a little bit of your suit bottom in wellness. It's a little bit different in wellness. I prefer to see a little bit of the lower back. I prefer to see a little bit of the lower back in general. However, for some girls, that's not the best answer because some girls don't have the smallest waistline from the back. They got a wider back. You need to cover it up as much as you can. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit individual, but what you don't want is you don't want the hair hitting the top of the glutes. Okay, you don't want the hair hitting the top of the glutes. It's okay in wellness if the hair hits the top of the suit, but not the glutes. Make sense? Right? And obviously, like I said, with this girl right here, she's got way too much of her back exposed with that ponytail. Okay. Thoughts on platinum being too bright under the lights. I'm not a huge fan of platinum blonde on stage. Blonde is okay, don't get me wrong, but you need to put some low lights into it and give it some depth. It's very, very hard to make platinum blonde hair look healthy under the lights. It ends up looking like a light bulb under the lights, right? So I'm okay with blonde on stage. I think blonde on stage is actually really nice. And as you can see, we have a lot of blondes in wellness actually doing very well. But it needs to have a little bit of low lights in it just so that it doesn't look like a freaking light bulb on top of your head. Right? Brandy, you're different because your hair is not long and fried. Does that make sense? Whenever I talk to you guys about hairstyles, we want the hairstyle to look healthy, right? We want the hairstyle to look fresh and healthy. Brandy, you have almost a shaved head. So you just have that little bit of platinum on top, which is actually a really great contrast against your skin tone. It pops that way. It looks really nice. It looks fresh, all those kinds of things. When we're looking at girls like this that we're talking about with the platinum blonde hair, it makes you look a little bit burnt. Like, I hate to use the word, but like burnt bacon is what I think of. like fried, right? Does that make sense? Like, you see right next to her, this girl right here, beautiful. She's got those lowlights in there and it blends everything and makes it look nice and healthy, right? That's right. Kelby, that's right. Yeah, you want to have some dimension so that it looks healthy and fresh. Again, there's a big difference between this blonde right here and this blonde right here, right? So lowlights are darker color in the hair. So see how she has the darker colors that mix in with the lighter blonde? This is a girl with lowlights right here, right? So it's not just straight up platinum blonde. Okay, make sense? Anything else that you guys see on this photo? This suit bottom, again, we talked about her suit color already. The suit bottom is not flattering either. Other than this suit bottom right here, I would say the suit bottoms are pretty decent. I'd like to see this one pushed down in the center a little bit, but not bad. I mean, most of these suit bottoms are pretty decent. The positive with wellness is that most wellness girls do hike the hip straps up quite a bit. And because of that, we do tend to get better V's and angles on the suit bottoms for wellness than we do even for bikini. So the bottoms tend to be pretty good in general on wellness. We just got to get away from the pie plate tops, right? So overall, like I said, these two girls in the center are doing a pretty good job with their overall presentation. The other girls all need a little bit of work, right? Okay. So there's that one. Let's pull up another shot here. That one's not got everybody posed. That's a front pose. Let's see. I'm going to try and get a quarter turn here where we can point some stuff out in the quarter turns. Okay, so let's do this one. Okay, so here's that same call out. And here is their quarter turns. Okay, so forget about this girl right here. She's in the middle of her transition, which honestly, I mean, again, I tried to get photos where everybody was posed, and you can see that pretty much everyone is in their poses except for these two girls on the end. They're not quite there yet. You don't want to be the last ones in your pose because guess what? Our eyes go directly to those two people that are not posed. That's never a good thing. Okay. So in comparisons, you got to be boom, boom, boom on it. Be ready to get into your pose. Unless you look real good during your transitions. If you look real good during your transitions, then who cares, right? But you can see that she just looks like she's got her waistline on too straight. Everybody else looks put together already. Okay. So what else do we see here? What else do we see here? Anything else you guys see? I'll mention a few things while we're waiting. Honest question, are wellness girls supposed to push into that front hip in their side pose? If you're talking about sitting into it, no, they're not. Again, this was a trend that started a couple years ago where girls started really sitting into that hip and pushing hard. And again, all it does is flatten out the leg and glute, right? A slight bend in the knee, standing up nice and tall, that's where you want to sit, okay? Now, for example, this girl right here, she's got this knee locked out. It should be bent, right? She was the one that had them bent in the back pose too much. Now in the quarter turn, she's got it straight and locked out. Okay, so slight bend in this knee, right? She's got a good bend in the knee. That's fine. What she needs to be careful of, she needs to make sure she keeps her waistline in tight here, right? But this right here, she needs to have a slight bend in that knee. But again, not sitting into it, not pushing, not squatting. Yes, it shortens the waist. Right. When you push too hard, it squishes that waistline. Right? So like this girl right here is like borderline because you can tell she's pushing quite a bit because her upper body's coming forward here. But this might be the best position for her body. Like I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. This actually might be the right position for her body. Everybody's a little different, right? So she may need to come up a little taller, or this may be right where she's supposed to be. I would have to look at other positions for her. But what really stands out to me in this particular lineup, though, is these two girls over here again. She's not angling in towards the center, which makes her look really top heavy. She looks really top heavy with these shoulders here. Okay. Like this girl here too. She looks pretty balanced from top to bottom here. You know, the way that you can disguise some of this, if you got these strong shoulders and wellness, pull some hair down. You know, pull some hair down in front so you cover up all that. You know, again, we want to see that waistline. We want to see it cut into the waist, but we don't want to see a broad upper body. She's pulling that elbow out so far. She looks really balanced from top to bottom, right? She should go freaking do figure, right? You know what I mean? It's a different look, right? And again, this girl's got that round cap shoulder. I'm sure her feedback was to pull her shoulders down and bring her legs up. I'm sure that had to be part of her feedback, right? This is not what we're looking for. You see here, we've got barely any shoulder cap. That's what we want. Her lower body is the dominant piece here, right? Same thing. Lower body is the dominant piece here. She's got some shoulders, but not too much. I would probably pull some hair down in front. That would probably help. This girl just in general needs size. I mean, I think, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. I think if she had a little bit more size on her lower half, that she'd be better balanced. She looks better balanced for wellness. She looks really balanced right now. So I think she just needs some more size in general, just overhaul some of these presentation details for her. And I don't really want to comment on these two because they're not in their pose. But you see what I'm talking about with all this? You want to look like you're standing there effortlessly and not smushing and squishing. Okay. All right. Let's go into the first call out now. Let's hit front pose. Okay, so here's our front pose for the first call out. This was the show that Devin won. So you can see she's standing there in the center. And this is what I was just talking about with her pulling that hair out in front. See that? See how she's got a little bit of hair up in front? That helps to diminish shoulders. I know she gets feedback that she needs to, to be careful about her shoulders and everything like that. So guess what she does? She covers it up. Right? What else do you guys see here? And again, I went through the photos and I tried to get fully posed photos of everyone. So these are their fully posed photos. So while some of them look like they're kind of in the middle of moving, they're actually not, right? So what else do you guys see? If you notice, one thing I'll say, this is our first call out. And look, there's only two girls that have pie plates. We got one pie plate here, one pie plate here. That should be enough evidence for you guys to know that all the pie plates, almost all of the pie plates were in the second call out, right? So let's get rid of that top style. I'm just saying, it's not flattering, okay? So if that doesn't tell you, nothing will, right? So what I would say here is most of these girls have a pretty decent front pose, right? The one thing I would change is here, she needs to relax. And again, I went through all the photos, right? Just like Kelby just said, right? Just in time for the pie plates, right? You missed a little bit of it, Jennifer. But yeah, we talked about the second call out, and most everybody in the second call out had pie plates. We're in first call out now, and we only have 2 pie plates in the first call out. And yes, Kelby, they all do look much more relaxed. With that said, this girl right here needs to be a little bit more relaxed, right? And she was like this in most of her poses. She needs to let this arm just hang. That would make her look so much better here, right? I mean, overall, these are really good front poses. This one I would adjust a little bit, probably bring the foot in a little. That would help. She looks like her legs are just a little bit too split apart here. And this girl right here, I know she's probably gotten critiques that she does have a very long torso. So she's probably trying to manipulate that a little bit. So I understand why she's posing the way that she is. I'd like to see her relax a little bit more. But if you notice, the girls that look the most relaxed are these ones right here in the center, right? That makes a difference. It makes a difference. And again, their suit colors are all good. With her, I would probably go a little brighter. This is a little dull on her skin tone, right? I'd probably go a little bit brighter on her. But they all look pretty polished and put together. There's a pretty significant difference between these girls and the second call out, right? So let's go to the next shot here. I'll pull up, let's go ahead and do a back pose. I think everyone's pretty much posed in this one. Thank you. Yes, I love Devin's suit too. We've kind of found her niche with her suit, with the ombre look and the purples and pinks and all that. So pops wonderfully on her skin. So again, going back to, we got blondes in this call out, right? Devin's got lowlights. That helps right here, right? I'm over on YouTube screen sharing. If you want to go over YouTube, I'm going through wellness for Texas Pro and talking about presentation details and what people are doing correctly and what they need to fix. If you want to check out YouTube, you can click on the link tree in my bio on Instagram here, and that'll take you over to YouTube. And then you can see what we're looking at. So I've got the Texas Pro up right now. So again, going back over what we were just talking about with that second call out, right? Most of these girls here are not doing any of those things, right? Now, she is bent over too much. See how it flattens the top of her glutes up? We lost that whole top of her glute because she's bent, right? Yeah, and Devin's not bent at all. She's got the slight bend in her knees to pull the hamstrings and all that. She's not bent at all. She's standing up. She's standing up too. Look at their hair. See how she's got lowlights? She's got lowlights in there too, right? This is just too platinum for my liking. It's too long. It's hitting the top of her glutes. That's diminishing her glutes in two ways. The way she's posing and the way that her hair is hitting her glutes, right? Her hair is also a little bit too long. And she's bending into it too much because we're losing the top of her glutes, right? Over here, she just needs more size in general. But, I mean, her hair is fine. The suit bottoms look a little big on her. She probably needs to tighten those suit bottoms up a little bit. They look like they're just sitting on top of her, you know? And this girl, I mean, she just needs more size in her glutes and stuff too. She just needs to be better balanced, better unbalanced. I keep saying better balanced. I mean, better balanced for the wellness division when I say that. When we're looking at this, better balance for the wellness division means more size on the lower half, right? She's also bent over too far. See how it flattens the glutes, right? There's a significant difference in the pop of Devin's glutes versus the pop of these two glutes right here, right? I hope you guys can see that, because these, like saying these kinds of things, knowing the vocabulary and understand what we're looking at is big. It's a big deal, right? So if she stood up and if she stood up, their back poses would probably be a lot better. Okay. But overall, a whole lot less presentation problems in this particular call out than the second one. Girl on the right, her legs are too wide. Yes, I would agree that her legs are too wide. This whole back pose needs an overhaul on her. Absolutely. Yep. Again, going back to these top four in the center here, they're pretty much on. They got little things to fix, but then we're looking on these girls on the outside, right? So, okay, so there's that. Let's pull up a quarter turn as well. Let's do this one right here. Okay. So this quarter turn, again, a whole lot less problems in this quarter turn on the first call out than what we saw in the second, right? Everybody's standing up. The one exception, well, two exceptions. She's bending forward too much. She's bending forward too much. She just needs to relax her arm and she'll be okay. Standing up tall, standing up tall, standing up tall. I mean, and again, I understand that sometimes we start posing a little bit more to our physiques. So a few of these girls, and maybe just a matter of tweaking little things, and they do look better in this position, whatever. But I'd like to see her standing up a little bit more, and I'd like to see her standing up a little bit more as well, right? They just look like these, Devin, here and here, they all look like they're just comfortable on stage. They got a slight bend in that knee. Nobody's locking that out. Nobody's got their knee locked out. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I don't even know what I did. Doesn't matter. We're on the same thing. Nobody's got their knee locked out. Everybody's got a slight bend, and they're just showing their shape, right? They're showing their shape. That's the key here. So many people in wellness specifically try to overpose. They try to overpose. When in reality, it's just making sure that you have the wellness shape, right? Any questions here? Let me see. I was going to pull up one more shot as we close it out. Let's pull up this one right here. One more front pose. So true. It's so obvious when someone is not comfortable in overposing. Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to pull up this particular shot to close out because they're all in their front poses and they all look fantastic in their front poses. They're all standing nice and tall, waistline tight, showing what they want, what they need to show, looking unbalanced, but balanced for bikini or for wellness, looking balanced for wellness, right? This is what we want to see from wellness competitors. They look comfortable, not uncomfortable, and they're showing their shape. You can't outpose your shape. You either have your shape or you don't, right? Okay. Any other questions for tonight? All right. So with that, you guys, that will wrap up our live feed for this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I will, when I'm finished here, it will go up on YouTube so you can watch it on the replay. Make sure that you go back, like, and comment on it. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. That helps us with the algorithm. Like playing Where's Waldo. I love that. I know, right? We should do this more often. I think this will help too. I like getting the interaction too. Like I said, I knew on wellness we would have a lot less people pointing things out because nobody does this for wellness, right? So we do need to educate a little bit better on wellness, right? We need to make sure that people can see it and understand it. So we'll do this a little bit better for wellness throughout the year. I think this will be a good way to kind of wrap up some of these shows rather than go through each person's individual photos. When we start seeing some of these wellness competitors and things like that, start tomorrow for sure. I'll take this and I'll also upload it on Spotify, just like the bikini one as well. And I think if we get this kind of, like I said, this kind of interaction back and forth when we get into more of these pro shows throughout this year, I think this might help even more with understanding criteria for each of these divisions, right? So again, comment, like, subscribe. If you want to work with me, then right here, Shawn's Couture, right there. You can click or swipe on that QR code. That'll take you to my website. We've got a whole bunch of brand new stuff that's going to be launching in just a matter of weeks. So be paying attention. So those who know what they're talking about, like Shawn. Thank you, Devin. Right. Yeah, this is very true. There's a lot of people out there that don't know what they're talking about. That is very true. So there's, I pay attention to the judges. There's a reason why I say what I say. It's because the judges say it to me, right? So I ask questions. I ask the judges these questions. I don't just go blindly into it. I actually do ask for the feedback because I want to be able to bring it back to you, right? And they do come and talk to me too, because they know that I'm going to bring it back to you, right? They know I'm going to bring it back to you. So I appreciate that too when they give me their 2 cents, right? So with that, guys, we will be back on live again tomorrow because tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow will be our program update day. So we'll come on with lots of questions, things like that. So that's that segment where we're going to do that once a week. So come on tomorrow, 8:15, and we'll talk about, programming stuff, on season, off season, just like we did last week. That was a fun one last week. So we'll do that again this week and get into that. I hope you guys had a great Wednesday today. I'm going to let y'all go. And we'll see you back here 8:15 tomorrow night. Okay? I'm going to log off Instagram first and then YouTube and Facebook. All right.